Yo, what's up, guys? Zorin here with a quick video. Actually, not usually I say Scarlet via video. But I'm already so used to saying that, but this is actually going to be a quick video just to kind of discuss about what happened in yesterday's Indianapolis regionals. So I just wanted to quickly talk about it, just kind of to give my thoughts on it. Like it was honestly just a crazy regional. There were so many really good battles that happened that I just really wanted to just talk about it, especially because there's some interesting stuff that people weren't expecting to see end up like taking the victory, and honestly I'm all for it. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I recently made a tier list before the regionals came out, and it's kind of funny because I ended up putting most of these, and also in the top 8, I guess it was like, I think it was top 8 or top 6. Top 6 um of the Legend of the Restricted that I thought were gonna be really good ended up being the top 6 that ended up being taking over. So I thought that was really cool. I didn't expect me to kind of like predict that, but it ended up happening. So there's some cool stuff here too. So Mireidon ended up taking the whole thing. Like Mireidon ended up taking it, and there's 2 of them. I don't remember if Aaron Trailer was also running a choice specs Mireidon, but Rajan, the winner, shout out to Rajan and congratulations to them. He was running a choice specs Mireidon with, I think it was 3 electric moves and dragon. I think he was the one with it. I don't remember it, and I can't see the OTS sadly, so that's why I was wondering if I should even make this video because we don't even have the OTS, or maybe I'm just dumb. But yeah, he ended up running a Mireidon with a choice specs, and I ended up putting Mireidon in my tier list very high up, actually, and like it was like the top of the S tier, and it ended up winning. So I was pretty proud of that because a lot of people have been saying that Mireidon was going to be mid. It wasn't going to be good. And I mean, at first glance, I completely agree with people because a lot of people were still trying to figure out all these restrictives and how to use them. And a lot of people were kind of opting to like Electric Seed, Life Orb, all that stuff. But nobody was really giving it a choice specs besides one. I actually showcased a Mireidon team on my channel with a choice specs. So shout out to Anxiety for being one of those choice specs believers, because he was running a choice specs Mireidon, and that team was really doing well for me during that video. So I definitely see why you would go for it. But yeah, so let's just talk a little bit more about it though. So Mireidon with choice specs is actually incredibly strong, especially because one of the moves that the Mireidon was using was Volt Switch. And the thing about that is that I didn't even consider that when I was looking at Mireidon. And it makes so much sense that it's kind of crazy that a lot of us didn't even see that, because Volt Switching out, the problem with Mireidon is Rillaboom, like, or Indeedee, right? Setting up their terrain to block you. But a way to just stop that is just to Volt Switch out, come back in later, and then bring it in, bring it back in while dealing some really good respectable damage. And if you add Electric Terra plus Specs onto it, even without the terrain, it's going to do a lot of damage, which is what I'm pretty sure Rajan was kind of going with it, because he had a lot of pivoting, like with Incineroar, and he had a really solid team here, and a really cool team to add to that, because he had Farigiraf, he had Ursaluna, he had a Stone Pawn, he had Rock Pawn, and he had Whimsicott over here. And that's something that I wanted to talk about as well with the whole Whimsicott thing. But yeah, Mireidon is also able to kind of just stop Amoonguss from doing anything, because the whole point of bringing Amoonguss is either to Rage Powder or to sleep, mainly to sleep, and Mireidon kind of just stops that, right? And if you notice in these teams, none of these teams that ended up top cutting, besides like one, am I missing Indeedee somewhere here? No, right? No Indeedee. Only one person had a Rillaboom to kind of stop Mireidon, so that's kind of also probably played a big role in why his Mireidon just did so well. Because like I said, the whole point is to try to a way to stop Mireidon from just blowing you up is by taking away its terrain. So a lot of people probably didn't prep for Mireidon because they probably didn't expect to really see it much or expect too much from it because everybody was talking, smack about it, and everybody was over preparing for the horse rider, specifically Ghost Rider, right? So that's why you don't really see any Ghost Riders here because everybody had some sort of counter to it. Like, look at this, we have Farigiraf here to kind of stop it. We have Whimsicott to give you Tailwind support. We've got Tailwind support right here. We got Spore. Chiyu deals with it. Terapagos doesn't care because it's part normal. I mean, part normal. It's normal type. We've got Wide Guard on the Pelipper. We've got Incineroar, all that good stuff. Like if you just look at the top 8, like there's so many ways to just stop Horse Rider, right? Because people were prepping for it. Because look at this, there's just Moltres. Sadly, since I'm going to the LA regional, my whole idea was actually using Moltres in my team for my Zamazenta team. So this is something that I would have done as myself, besides the Latios, which is really cool. I was even thinking of wanting Latios in my team. So Kiana, shout out to Kiana because he had a similar kind of idea of what I wanted to do. Although I ended up going with a much different team. But these mons besides the Pelipper were some stuff that I was thinking about, and definitely the Pelipper was a really good idea. So shout out to him because I wanted to represent Zamazenta for the LA regionals, but alas, I'm not going. But yeah, so it's like there's so much things to stop Shadow Rider on these teams, but there's really nothing that stops Mireidon here, and it's either Rillaboom or Indeedee to just like stop it from doing its thing. And if you also notice, there's not many ground types happening coming out, and if you Electric Terra, with there being really not many premium ground types in this meta right now. Like Lando just dropped, and I think it's because of Kyogre and this dude right here, the whole Ice Rider, definitely because of Ice Rider. That just gives Mireidon the chance to just Electric Terra and just do as much damage. This is basically the new Flutter Mane. Mireidon is basically the new Flutter Mane under its terrain because it just blows everything out. Spec boosted, Terra boosted, Electric Terrain boosted, and its ability, and it's just there's just so many multipliers going into a Volt Switch that it just deletes everything. Like I think a Volt Switch deleted. Was it a Volt Switch or a Discharge? I don't remember what it was, but I mean these aren't even high powered moves. Just to put that out there, right? They're not even high powered moves, and they one-shotted Rillaboom. I wasn't sure if it was AV. I don't think it was, but it one-shotted a resisted Mon with Volt Switch, I think. And that's crazy. That's crazy to think about that. So it's literally like playing Flutter Mane kind of. Except there is the whole, you need to kind of like not hit yourself because Discharge does hit you, right? And it's insane how much damage comes from Mireidon. And they just found out, they figured it out. They were like, yeah, Volt Switching. If they try to take away my terrain, I just Volt Switch out, get out of here. And I have Farigiraf just in case, if I feel like they're going for to stop me with priority because I'm choice specs, I'm vulnerable to priority. I always have Farigiraf to keep me covered, and you can just Volt Switch out, come back in with like Incineroar, Whimsicott, or Stone Pond, and just not worry about that. And then you have the Ursaluna to be able to just send out discharges. So this team was really well made, and it's such a cool team too. Like it's so good. So I understand what he was going with, and it's Mireidon with Volt Switch. Literally, it's just the Tokyo Drift Mireidon strat. It's just Tokyo. He's just Tokyo drifting on people. He literally Tokyo drifted on everybody. He just drifted on the other teams and got first place. So shout out to him for being a lore accurate Mireidon team because he was just drifting on people on his bike. And yeah, that's incredible. So yeah, Mireidon, it took a bit, but people figured out, hey, if we choice specs this thing, we hit it with the Electric Terra, we Volt Switch out. It doesn't matter if you try to take away my terrain. I'll just come back later. It's okay. I don't need to be here. And it's crazy because remember the premium, the combo that we thought was going to be with Mireidon was Bundle, because Bundle was it's one of the fastest mons that has speed control. Not even Tailwind usually can save you. But look at that. There's absolutely no bundles because people just figured it out. They just figured out as long as we play around our Mireidon, we don't really need anything else. We just Volt Switch out, come back later, put the terrain back up, and literally none of the paradox mons even benefit from like are in there to benefit from its electric terrain, which says a lot for the poor future paradox mons, right? That now that the electric terrain is here, we still don't see them. Whereas we do see, you know, Fluttermane, we see Raging Bolt, we do see Photosynthesis on Mireidon team, so it's kind of sad, but it is what it is, right? But yeah, really cool that Mireidon won. And if we look at the other teams, right, we got Zamazenta made it into the top 8, really cool, because as Zamazenta enjoyer myself, I'm really happy to see that. Another Mireidon team with a Ditto. I didn't really get to see if that Ditto did anything, so it was definitely this Rajan who I was keeping an eye on with the Mireidon, because I don't remember a Ditto ever. Then we've got the Calyrex Ice Riders, obviously doing really well. Not really surprised there. Ice Rider is really good. And a lot something to also think about is that Terrapagos, they also, a lot of them were running Covert Cloak, which is initially what I thought people would be running to into the regionals, because Covert Cloak is really good because it stops you from being fake out and you can just set up a combine. But people decided, you know what, we don't need that. We're going full on choice specs and just going straight into the Star Storms. And one of them even had, I think it was Andrew, had a Hyper Beam on their Terrapagos, which is crazy, but it actually ended up in one of the battles that actually ended up one-shotting the Ice Rider. I think it was just against Justin. It was against Justin or Leon. I don't remember which one, but he just ended up one-shotting the Ice Rider with Hyper Beam, which was insane, really insane. But yeah, they just had choice specs on their Terrapagos, and you know what? They just decided we don't need to just play the protection game. Let's also have some really big threats. So that's what they went for, which I felt like was the correct idea here. And I actually felt like, I think I said that in my video too, which is why I put Terrapagos in A and not S. That right now people were playing it as protect the turtle, whereas where you would have like Comfy and like follow me and all that good stuff to try to like stop people from stopping you from combine. And I felt like a more aggressive approach would be the option, and that's exactly what they did. They went for a more aggressive approach. They went with choice specs. They still had a little bit of support there, but most of the team was literally just hit hard, hit fast, feel like you can't do anything. Like you still have to deal with Urshifu, you still have to deal with Chi-Yu, Raging Bolt, so you can't really just focus on the turtle. And yeah, that's ended up what people started going. So I was kind of right there with the Terrapagos as well. So like I said, I'm pretty happy with my predictions. It's actually turning out really well. Yeah, Kyogre still being able to be good. I put him in S tier as well for my tier list. So I might just leave my tier list down in the description for you guys to watch if you guys want to just see what I thought about the restrictions and see how close I was to predicting what was going to be getting played. Serena was really cool to see as well. I didn't expect Serena to be, but it makes perfect sense to put it on a Kyogre team instead of Farigiraf, because it's grass type. It gets access to moves that Farigiraf wouldn't get. It's top priority, right? And thanks to the rain, it's not going to have to worry about fire moves as much. So it makes complete sense why Serena is like the premium priority blocker for Kyogre. Juglius is cool. Latios made it in here. So yeah, other than that, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about Whimsicott. That's before I end the video here. So the thing about Whimsicott, and why you see more Whimsicotts than, well actually no, not really, you see Tornadus here. But what's surprising to see is that Whimsicott did end up being more, I feel like it's a little bit better than Tornadus right now. Just because, like I said, people were over preparing for Shadow Rider and Ice Rider. But so a lot of people were opting for like Wide Guard users. That's why you see Pelipper here, because Pelipper is really good. It also is a weather, so they just have ways to deal with Kyogre in a different way, which is Raging Bolt. So in case they go against a Kyogre, they always have Raging Bolt to deal with Kyogre, because what is Kyogre doing to Raging Bolt? Nothing. You can't really one-shot it. So Raging Bolt just covers that really well. Even so, rain isn't a hindrance to you at all. And then yeah, so the thing about Whimsicott is since there's so many wild guards, so much stuff like that, Tornadus kind of falls flat because you now only have Bleak Wind Storm to deal with, and because of all these wild guards, after you Tailwind, what do? You can't Icy Wind, you can't Bleak Wind Storm. You kind of just sit there and look pretty. So it makes sense that a lot of people opted for Whimsicott instead, because not only is Whimsicott just a really good Tailwind setter, it also gets access to things like Encore, Fake Tears, you know, all those really good status moves. And with priority, you're gonna be very annoying with the Encores if you catch them out protecting. Right, they use a priority move and you can lock them into it that you don't mind locking them into. So it's really interesting to see Whimsicott coming in, but it also makes sense because at least you can Moonblast things and not worry about White Guard, right? So it makes sense that at least if after Whimsicott does its thing, you always have other options to deal to work with other than like Bleak Wind Storm and Icy Wind on Tornadus and just getting blocked by White Guards. Because look, we do have White Guard, we have White Guards, we have ways to deal with the Horse Rider. So there's like what do you do? Like you also have like Raging Bolts here to deal with Tornadus. Whimsicott resists that, so it doesn't really care. So it's like it makes perfect sense why Whimsicott is pretty much back with the restricted, right? So just wanted to quickly talk about this stuff. It's already been 16 minutes. I wanted to talk for only 10 minutes, but I guess I yapped too much. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the Indiana regionals in the comments below. I really want to know what you guys thought. If you guys want, you guys can join my Discord as well to talk about it. I wouldn't mind that, because this was all really, honestly, this is like my first ever like really looking into VGC as a whole. Like I've been keeping tabs on the other regionals obviously and just enjoying it, but I think this format is the first time that things get really serious because we have restricted mons, legendaries. So you know, to me all of this is really exciting, even though it's gonna be a little bit hard to make VGC content in my opinion, to like in terms of battles, because it's gonna be a little hard to be unique. But I mean, there's always room for cool teams either way, because look at these teams like Jugulis, Latios, Ditto. Ditto's always a funny one because I swear to God, last gen, I watched a little bit. I remember seeing Zacian and Ditto on teams. So really funny that Ditto ends up always coming out when restricteds come out. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the little yapping session that I did. And if you guys want to see more stuff like this, like we'll just talk about stuff, because I want to do more variety of content in terms of Pokemon, maybe guides. I'm actually working on a guide right now, so spoiler alert, I'm working on a Kyogre guide for you guys. And yeah, we're just trying to do stuff like this, when we talk about Pokemon, and instead of just doing VGC battles. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. I really enjoyed this little chat session. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.